Hey guys, it's Generalkidd here. How is everyone doing? Today we're going to be tackling the question of whether you can save the burning grunt on Sunaion, or actually the mission Battle of Sunaion. So if you don't know what grunt we're talking about, it's the one at this part. This is kind of like in the middle of the mission. It's right before the part where you have to run through all those platforms that keep falling, that leading up to the part where you meet up with the Arbiter and fight the Warden. If you cross like the stairs here, or like in the entire general area, there's like an invisible barrier that like loads this explosion here. It spawns the grunt, and the grunt spawns on fire, and he's running around. And then sometimes he'll say stuff like, "I regret everything" or something like that, and then he dies shortly after. And there's also a few other interesting things here, like this jack on the ground that it's like dead, but like still kind of alive, and you can kind of kill him by throwing a grenade. But that's the only way to kill this jack on the ground. Other than that, he's like invincible to melees or weapons fire. But yeah, so let's see if we can save the grunt. Now we tried several things to test this out. Many things actually. We've tried like throwing grenades to try to get the grunt out of the way, or Spartan charging a grunt. But unfortunately, everything we tried killed the grunt up until what we try in here. So what you want to do is you want to climb up to this ledge over here to the side. And you want to be careful because that invisible barrier I mentioned earlier that loads the explosion is still around here. So you don't want to go any further than this. You want to climb up on this little ledge here. And then you want to have someone jump on your head and basically boost across and land on that platform. So let's watch that from their perspective, just so you kind of know what to do. So we're just going to get up on this ledge again. And like I said, that barrier spawns, that barrier is like kind of like wrapped all around. So our objective here is to basically like hop over the barrier, because on the ground and quite a bit above the ground, the barrier is there, and if you cross the barrier, or the loading point, whatever you want to call it, it will cause the explosion to happen, and thus the grunt will catch on fire and die. So yeah, let's watch this in slow motion to see what you have to do. So you want to sprint, jump, boost across, and then zoom in on your weapon so that you can stabilize for a second, and then use the ground pound to get to that last stretch so you get up onto this little ledge here. And this ledge is high enough and just out of the way enough so that you will not cause that grunt to die or to load at all. As you can see, we're already way past that point and the explosion hasn't happened. Nothing has happened over there. Now, the next step is, if you're doing that by yourself, great. I don't think you can do it by yourself though, because you need to stand on someone's head to get high enough to boost. But, maybe someone's really good at jumping in Halo 5, then they could probably make it by themselves. But other than that, you need to do it with other people. And depending on how many people you're doing it with, you need to make sure that everybody dies at this point, including the AI characters like Tanaka there. And because if you kill yourselves while she's still alive, she'll come revive you. So you want to make sure that does not happen. Because if she revives you, then those take a lot longer. There's actually no way to spawn back up here. And you both need to be dead, because if one of the other players is still alive, chances are you'll spawn with the other player instead of the one up here. So, the person up there needs to stand kind of further back in the corner so that you spawn in the right spot. You want to be very careful not to spawn someone off the edge, because if you spawn them off the edge and they touch the ground, chances are they'll kind of spawn back in that loading area, and thus causing the grunt to spawn. So make sure everyone is far back in the corner enough so that everybody spawns on the edge and not off the edge. So yeah, now that we're up here, well, let's take a quick look. As long as you stay up here, you'll be safe. You won't cause anything to spawn. But as you can see down there, the jackals are still down there, including the semi-dead one. And if you throw grenades, you'll cause all the jackals, each jackal to die. Again, I guess. But, like I said, if someone spawns down there, you'll cause the grunt to spawn and catch on fire. But as you can see from that viewpoint there, the grunt just spawns in out of nowhere and is caught on fire immediately. Meaning there's no way to prevent the grunt from catching on fire. That grunt is basically scripted to spawn and catch on fire and die. And you can't put the fire out or anything. And increasing the difficulty with like Tilt Skull and Mythic Skull won't do anything either, because that grunt is pretty much scripted to die at that point. The only thing you can do is kill the grunt faster. However, there is still a way to save the grunt. So, using this method, once you're already up here, and you're positive you did not cause the grunt to load and die, you want to carefully jump down to the ledge to the ground over here, as close over here as possible. If you're too close to the other side, then you'll cause the grunt to load and die. But once you jump down here, and you proceed through the mission, in a way, you are saving the grunt. It's not like saving allies or enemies in the previous videos I've done, but basically, the grunt does not die because, well, the grunt does not spawn in. You're skipping the loading point. You're skipping the loading point for spawning the grunt. And technically, I don't know if you guys want to consider this as saving. Do you consider it saving the grunt if the grunt never existed? I don't know. That's up for debate, I guess. But in a way, the grunt death never happens in this case. So I don't know. You're kind of changing the future, I guess, changing time. Sort of, but the grunt death never happens, so in a way you kind of do save the grunt from dying. So yeah, that's basically the only way you can save that grunt. But I hope that answers your questions for the people who've been asking it to me. And if you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like, leave your thoughts in the comments, as I always say. And if there's anything you want me to check out, any questions you want me to tackle, just let me know in the comments, and I'll do my best to check them out. But other than that, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe. And stay tuned for our upcoming videos, because we got a lot of other ones coming out soon, including a new episode of Barrier Busters coming out very soon as well. And yeah, so like I said, stay tuned, and I will see you guys next time.